He just became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Let's be real. This whole King Harris situation feels like the season finale of a reality show nobody signed up for. One day he's arguing about being grown, and the next day, boom, he's got a baby on the way. Like, we blinked, and the timeline flipped upside down. And can we talk about T.I. just casually leaking it during an interview? Man didn't even try to keep it low-key. He basically said, "My son's having a baby, and I'm about to co-parent with him." The internet barely had time to breathe before turning into full-time detectives. Screenshots, TikToks, and memes were flying faster than King could hit go live. Because let's face it, when T.I. says he's going to raise the child to torture King, that's not just a joke. That's a dad watching his son repeat the same wild cycle he tried to warn him about. You can practically hear the irony in every word. Now, the internet's divided. Half the people clowning, half pretending to be therapists. Everyone's got a theory. Some say Big Nana played chess, not checkers, saw a Harris heir and made her move. Others think King finally found the one, and the rest of us are just messy for doubting it. But even if you take the love story route, the optics are chaotic. Nana's Instagram became a crime scene overnight. Fans spotted me plus KC for life, and suddenly it was like CSI Atlanta. Tiny hitting the follow button? That was basically confirmation with sparkles and confetti. Because Tiny doesn't follow randoms, she moves like a PR strategist trying to manage the storm before it hits. And the hairstylist story? The can't wait to meet you baby boy? Yeah, that was the internet's green light to lose its mind. From Reddit threads to YouTube comments, people were calling her Baby Trap Queen 2025. Meanwhile, Nana's over here glowing and posting captions like, "Real love never hides. Girl." The internet doesn't believe in real love, they believe in receipts. But here's the plot twist. The baby isn't even born yet, and we're already deep in think pieces, arguments, and fan theories. That's how powerful the Harris name is. It's not just a baby announcement, it's a full cultural event. And the craziest part? This might just be King's first real-life test. For years he's been talking about being grown. Now he's about to find out that being grown isn't about flexing cars or arguing with your dad on live. It's about diapers, responsibility, and showing up. This story isn't just messy, it's generational. You can feel T.I.'s frustration, Tiny's quiet strategy, and King's confusion all blending into one big celebrity family cocktail of chaos. And whether you think Nana trapped him or not, one thing's certain, this baby's already trending before birth. So now that King Harris's situation has exploded across social media, everybody's got an opinion. But the truth is, this story runs way deeper than what we see on TikTok clips or messy Instagram lives. What started as a celebration for T.I. and Tiny welcoming another grandchild quickly turned into a wildfire of drama, exposing the complicated world that King has built around himself. He's trying to prove he's grown, independent, and not living in his parents' shadow, but every move he makes gets magnified, especially when it comes to his new role as a father. When the news broke that King was about to have a baby boy, fans were divided. Some people were congratulating him, saying he's stepping up and doing what a man should do, while others rolled their eyes and said this was just another example of a celebrity kid moving too fast. But the way King's been acting lately shows he's been carrying a lot of pressure. The pressure of being T.I.'s son, of constantly being compared, and of trying to create his own lane while the internet keeps clowning him. It's wild, because for King, this isn't just about becoming a dad. It's about trying to earn respect in a world that's already made up its mind about him. He's been labeled spoiled, privileged, and even fake gangster. But when you really look closer, you see a young man fighting for identity. His relationship with his baby mama just amplified everything. One minute, they're posting cute pictures and captions that sound like love, and the next, it's chaos, accusations, shade, and people calling it a groupie trap. Behind the scenes, it feels like King's stuck between two worlds. On one side, there's his family, his dad, who's built an entire empire on being the self-proclaimed King of the South, and his mom, Tiny, who's seen fame from every angle. They've always tried to keep King grounded, but when you're growing up with cameras in your face and fans expecting you to live up to a legacy, that's not exactly easy. And on the other side, there's the world King's trying to create for himself, one where he can make his own mistakes, define his own rules, and build his own image. The baby news should have been something beautiful, a sign of growth, but instead, it turned into a messy internet debate. Some people were quick to assume the worst, calling his baby mama a clout chaser and accusing her of trapping him. Others defended her, saying she's just being unfairly targeted because of who King is. But what's really at play here is the internet's obsession with tearing down young men who come from fame. Everyone loves watching the rise and fall, the drama, the downfall. It's entertainment now. What people forget is that behind those viral clips and comments are real people. King may act tough online, but you can tell that the constant criticism hits him deep. Every time he tries to explain himself or clap back, it only fuels more drama. That's the internet trap. The more you try to defend yourself, the more the crowd eats it up. And that's what's been happening nonstop. Then you've got T.I., who's trying to play the role of both a proud father and a mentor. When he publicly said he's ready to make his grandson the greatest gangster of all time, people couldn't tell if he was joking or serious. Some took it as T.I. just being playful, but others felt it was tone deaf. Like, this is the same man who's been preaching about growth, maturity, and staying out of trouble. So why joke about turning your grandson into a gangster? The irony wasn't lost on anyone, and that's the problem with the Harris family dynamic. They live their lives out loud. Every argument, every joke, every emotional moment becomes a headline. And with King already walking that fine line between wanting to be respected and constantly being misunderstood, it only adds fuel to the fire. Fans don't see a family trying to figure things out, they see a reality show playing out in real life. When King went live, trying to explain his side, it only made things more chaotic. He spoke about loyalty, betrayal, and people using him for fame. You could tell he was hurt, not just by his baby mama, but by the way people around him kept switching sides depending on what the internet said. It's like everyone wants a piece of the spotlight, even if that means tearing someone down to get it. And honestly, that's one of the most heartbreaking parts of this story. King's trying to protect his image, his name, and now his child. But the more he tries, the more he gets dragged into narratives he can't control. It's not about who's right or wrong anymore. It's about who can trend longer, who can make the most noise, who can turn pain into clout. You can almost feel T.I. and Tiny's frustration too. They've built a career off their image, but watching their son go through this kind of public meltdown probably hurts in ways the world won't understand. T.I. has always been vocal about wanting his kids to be better, to learn from his mistakes, but King's journey has been the exact opposite. He's learning the hard way, in front of millions of people, while every misstep becomes viral content. The craziest part is, deep down, you can sense that King wants to do better. He's proud of becoming a father, he's trying to provide, and he's even talked about wanting his son to grow up differently than he did. But when the internet keeps labeling you before you even get a chance to prove yourself, that's a heavy weight to carry. It's like every generation of celebrity kids has to go through the same pattern: fame, rebellion, controversy, and then redemption. But not everyone survives that cycle. Some make it out stronger, some fade into the background, and some let the fame destroy them completely. And with King, it feels like he's still deciding which side he's going to fall on. People love to judge from the sidelines, but nobody really talks about how hard it is to grow up in the spotlight. King's life has been public since he was a kid: cameras, interviews, expectations. And now, as an adult, he's still being treated like entertainment. Even when he's going through real-life issues like parenthood, heartbreak, and identity, it's turned into gossip. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. King's just trying to find his place. He's trying to protect his name, his family, and his future, while the world watches every mistake like it's an episode of a show they can't stop binging. But if there's one thing that's clear through all the chaos, it's that King's story isn't finished. The baby, the drama, the family tension, it's all part of his evolution. Whether he ends up being a better man or just another headline depends on what he does next. And honestly, that's what makes people keep watching. Because no matter how messy things get, everyone loves a redemption story. So maybe, just maybe, this will be the moment that changes everything for King Harris. When the news first broke that King Harris was about to become a father, the internet didn't even pause to celebrate. Within hours, it turned into a battlefield. TikTok edits, messy tweets, people dragging his baby mama, and the constant question hanging in every comment section. Is this another celebrity kid falling into the trap? It's easy to forget that King is only 20. He's still figuring life out, still finding his rhythm, but the internet doesn't care about that. What they see is the son of TY, a kid born into luxury, fame, and influence, now caught up in the exact kind of drama his parents spent years warning him about. TI himself even seemed torn. On one hand, he was smiling during interviews, proudly saying he's about to have another grandson. But there was something in his tone, that half laugh, half sigh, that made you wonder if he knew this wasn't going to be a smooth ride. Because deep down, he probably knows how hard it is to grow up under constant scrutiny, and now his son is stepping into that same storm. People instantly started dissecting everything. The baby mama's background, her social media posts, their relationship timeline, even the way King reacted to the news. Fans were arguing about whether this was real love or just another groupie baby trap, as some called it. The internet doesn't do empathy anymore. It does theories, memes, and chaos. But here's the thing. King's story has always been complicated. He's not just some random rich kid chasing fame. He's someone who's been fighting for identity ever since he was old enough to talk back. From the early days of family hustle, people labeled him the wild one, the troublemaker, the spoiled kid with something to prove. And instead of running from that image, King leaned into it. He made music, talked tough, and started acting like he didn't care. But now, the reality of adulthood and fatherhood is testing whether that image still holds up. When you watch King's recent clips, it's clear he's carrying a mix of pride and frustration. Pride because he's stepping into a new chapter. Frustration because no matter what he does, people still see him as the reckless kid from TV. And it doesn't help that every argument, every emotional outburst gets recorded and reposted with captions like, "TI's son wildin' again." His baby mama's involvement only turned that spotlight brighter. The internet loves labeling women in these situations: gold digger, clout chaser, attention seeker. But the truth is, none of us know what's really going on behind closed doors. We see 10-second clips and act like we're experts on someone's life. What we do know is that King and his baby mama had something that started off as young love, and somewhere between the fame, the pressure, and the constant noise, things got messy. The irony is that TI and Tiny spent years trying to prepare their kids for this kind of attention. They built their brand on family, loyalty, and self-awareness. But there's no manual for fame. You can't teach someone how to survive being picked apart by millions of strangers. And right now, King's learning that lesson the hard way. When T.I. said in that clip, "I'm going to make this the greatest gangster of all times," people couldn't stop talking. Some thought it was hilarious, others said it was irresponsible. But in truth, that statement was layered. It wasn't just about gangster in the literal sense. It was T.I.'s way of saying, "I'm going to be there. I'm going to guide him. He's seen too much to let history repeat itself." But that moment became a meme within hours. Screenshots, reaction videos, jokes, all turning something meant as pride into a punchline. That's the cost of fame in 2025. Nothing stays pure. Everything gets recycled, remixed, and turned into content. And that's the pressure King's dealing with. The pressure of being a headline. Whether he's trying to defend himself, post something emotional, or share a genuine moment with his family, it gets twisted. Fans demand transparency, but punish vulnerability. They say, "Be real," but when you are, they call you embarrassing. It's a lose-lose situation. Even worse, people started dragging T.I. and Tiny into it, saying this was a parenting fail. As if raising a kid in the spotlight automatically means you failed the moment that kid makes a mistake. The same people who celebrate breaking generational curses are the ones waiting to see the next celebrity kid stumble. But what's most fascinating about King is that he doesn't run from it. He doesn't hide. He talks back. He claps back. And that's why people keep watching. Because he's unpredictable. One minute he's talking about being misunderstood, the next he's throwing shade, then he's posting something wholesome about his baby. It's chaotic, but it's real. Behind all that bravado, though, there's a young man trying to be taken seriously. You can hear it when he talks about being a father. You can see it in his tone when he says he wants to give his son a better life. And that's where the real story lies, not in the drama, but in the transformation that might actually be happening. Because becoming a parent changes everything. It shifts your mindset, your priorities, your circle. Suddenly, every decision matters. And that's something King's learning day by day, under the harshest kind of spotlight. What people forget is that King's life isn't just about fame, it's about legacy. He's growing up in a family that built their name from the ground up, a family that knows what struggle and success both feel like. That's a blessing and a curse, because while he inherits the benefits, he also inherits the expectations. Everyone wants him to be a mini T.I., but he's not. He's King, and King wants to be seen on his own terms. Now, the internet's already divided on whether this baby situation will make him better or break him. Some fans are rooting for his redemption arc. Others think it's the beginning of a spiral. But if we've learned anything from the Harris family, it's that they don't go down quietly. They turn chaos into content, pain into purpose, and every scandal into a new chapter. Still, there's this lingering sadness underneath it all. Watching King navigate adulthood in public feels like watching someone walk a tightrope with cameras flashing from every angle. One wrong move, and it's viral. One emotional outburst, and it's another headline. That's not freedom, that's surveillance disguised as fandom. And maybe that's why this story hit so hard. Because beyond the memes, the shade, and the controversy, there's a deeper question here. How do you grow up when the whole world refuses to let you? King's trying to be a man, a father, and an artist, all while fighting against a narrative he didn't create. And you can see him pushing back against it, whether people like it or not. That's why he's polarizing. He's messy, but he's honest. He's defensive, but he's human. He's not polished, and that's exactly what makes him interesting. It's easy to criticize him now, but imagine how different the conversation could be in a few years if he figures it out. If he channels all that energy, pain, and attention into something meaningful, we could be watching the evolution of someone who defied every expectation placed on him. And that's what makes this moment so important, because it could be the turning point. Still, the question remains, is the internet even capable of letting someone grow anymore? Every celebrity kid, from Jaden Smith to Blue Ivy, has to fight for individuality in a world that already has their story written for them. And King Harris is no exception. At the end of the day, this isn't just about a baby mama drama, it's about image, legacy, and the never-ending cycle of public judgment. King's mistakes are magnified because his last name carries weight. But behind all the chaos, there's potential. And whether that potential gets realized depends on whether he learns from all this or lets it consume him. T.I. once said in an interview, "You can't protect your kids from life. You can only prepare them for it." And maybe that's what's happening here. Life is finally happening to King Harris. It's unfiltered, unedited, and messy. But maybe that's what he needs to finally become who he's meant to be. So while social media keeps arguing, King's over there figuring out fatherhood one diaper, one argument, and one headline at a time. The story's still being written. Do you think King Harris is being unfairly judged because of his family name? Or do you think he's responsible for how messy things have gotten? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear what you think. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on your screen for even more juicy celebrity chaos, betrayals, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. See you in the next one.